Hey guys, this is Brother Mitch. Welcome to another podcast. And today we have a very special guest for you today. This is my beautiful daughter, Megan Carmack. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Hello, hello.
So good to have you. Stay tuned today. I think you're really going to like this episode. Megan is going to give us a lot of knowledge on music. She loves music. She grew up listening to music. And what kind of music do you like?
Everything that's good.
Everything that's good. She's going to tell us what's good today. Let's just get a little bit of background, okay, on you because some of the people may not know you.
Right, right.
Uh, what was it like growing up as a twin in the Carmack house?
Well, listen, every time people ask me this, I think it's so funny because I gotta ask people, what was it like to not grow up with the twin? I don't know what it's like because that's all I've ever known. But I guess it was nice to have someone who understood me, better than anyone else. And
Did people ever get you confused? Any teachers or students ever think that you were Mackenzie and Mackenzie was you?
well, my aunt Pam still doesn't know what's apart.
Oh, that's funny. Now that you've graduated college and you have a career, what are you currently doing right now?
I'm a high school math teacher.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why would you choose math? Is there any reason?
So, um, all throughout my life, I was like excellent at math, but
Hmm.
I wasn't awesome. I was just like, well, I had only been in honors math classes, and so I was like, oh, there's definitely people who are a lot better at it than me. And I had a plan of going into engineering because I was in a 4-year engineering program in high school, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And then when I got to the college I went to, the engineering program there was kind of just weird, and I was like, well, I really like calculus. I'll do math, and then like I never regretted that decision ever, because it is what it is. It's really hard, and it's the most rewarding thing in the
Wow.
world. So
You know, Megan is one of the most smartest. I love all my girls, all of them are smart, but Megan is one of the most smartest people that I know. You know, I can see
for
her
sure.
write down all of these formulas and stuff like Sheldon in the Big Bang. It's just incredible what she can do with math. So I'm really proud of you, where you came from, and what the Lord's got for you in the future. Today, we're here to talk about music. And what does music mean to you? How important is music to you?
I mean, it's my everything. Like I listen to it on the way to work. I listen to it. Sometimes I have music playing while I'm teaching, and then the second I get off work, I just play music and listen to it all the time. And
Well, what kind of music do you like? Is it there a variety or
so I like everything that's good. That's what I said earlier. But um,
so all kinds of music if it's good music, right?
yeah, but I would say what I listen to the most is probably a lot of classic rock and a lot of psychedelic rock and a lot of just oldie sort of music. But music
Now
now
you're
is good.
talking.
Music now is good still.
Well, I tell you what, that was the kind of music I grew up with. I grew up in the 70s and 80s with Bon Jovi and some of these hair bands. And that's not the kind of music you're talking
That's too.
about from
That's
the
later.
80s.
That's later. That's like
That's
10 years
like,
later.
okay, so you're talking about you love music from the 70s, right?
60s, 70s, yeah. So I would say like what I listen to the most is music from like 1966 to 1975. Like that's like the perfect time. But I still appreciate all music after. I like rap. I like EDM music. I
Kind
like
of
everything.
the disco era. Is that what it was?
Yeah, sure. Like disc. Yeah, I like some disco.
With Dick
Sure.
Clark, some little bit of Dick Clark in
I
there.
don't know who that is.
Okay, I noticed that Megan collects record albums. If we go out shopping, she usually buys new and used records. And why do you do that? Why do you like that platform other than CD disc or just streaming? Is there something about records that the staticky sound that just gives you chills when you hear it?
So I especially like to get records from you know my older albums that I like because they were meant to be listened to on
Right,
vinyls. And so when you listen to it, with your headphones on, just like on Spotify, it doesn't hit the same. And it's also, I think, every single day we're moving away from physical media, and that's how they control us. We got to keep. We don't own
right,
anything. We don't own
right,
anything.
right.
So we have to find things that we actually own. Like I could forget my Spotify password and lose my thousands of songs on there. but I'll still have my like 100 physical vinyls that I can listen to every day.
I love a record album. I like CDs, and I'm old school. I guess you could call me old school in a sense, but there's just something about holding it in your hand and opening up that album. And when I grew up, they used to put the lyrics
Hmm.
inside the albums and stuff. I don't know if they do that now, but I was going to ask you guys watching today: have you been out and priced the cost of a brand new album today? It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I went to go buy. I just went to a concert recently. I went to go buy the album of it, and it was like $40.
Wow.
And so I'm like, maybe one day I'll worry about that later.
Well, Megan's got a lot of bands that she likes, but we're going to talk about a couple of them in particular today. One being the Beach Boys, because I know that that's probably your
My
favorite band
favorite
of all.
band. Yeah.
I've seen the Beach Boys. I saw them when I was in college up in Cincinnati with Kenny G. I don't know if you even remember who he was.
Saxophone player.
He was a saxophone player, and it was an awesome concert. But what is it about the Beach Boys that just really gets you going?
So, um, Brian Wilson, of course, is what I think was the greatest musician and composer of the 20th century. And like I would say the variance in their music that existed from like late 50s to mid 70s, like the range of music is insane and how like much they were able to do. And coming out with Pet Sounds, they completely changed pop music forever and changed the formula of pop music. And we kind of see that with the Beatles too. But people consider the Beatles the greatest band of all time, but Paul McCartney himself thinks that Brian Wilson's the greatest artist of
Wow.
all time. So
That says a whole lot. How many Beach Boys were there, and how many are actually alive today?
Brian Wilson and his two brothers Dennis and Carl, and then Mike Love and um, Al Jardine were like the main five. And then as they toured, like they gained some people like Bruce Johnston because Brian didn't want to tour anymore, and so people considered there to be like six, but there's mainly five. And anyways, all of the Wilson brothers are now deceased, which is really
Oh,
sad. But Dennis died really young. He got drunk and went surfing and died in the ocean. It was really sad.
wow.
And I
Well,
think
are they still touring with new
so.
band
Yeah, they're
members?
they're
Or
still touring. Mike Love and Al Jardine usually tour still, and there's just a bunch of randos, and it's not the same now.
it's not the same. Well, I always heard you talk about the Beach Boys, and the second favorite group you mentioned just a few minutes ago is the Beatles.
Yeah, I love the Beatles. The Beatles are actually my favorite band for a really long time, and then I think around eighth grade, um, I just started really listening to their music because I grew up on the Beach Boys, but I never really like delve into their more experimental stuff. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I get it now. I get it. This is it. Like this is it. This is what real music is, and it doesn't get better than this. And
Now,
my
isn't that strange hearing some from a young person like that? That the Beatles and some of the movie groups from the '70s and '80s are the hottest bands that ever lived. One of the songs that I remember they sang was "We All Live in a Yellow Submarine." What was that song about? I've heard so many different things about what that's about. Could you explain to us exactly what they meant when they wrote that?
no, Dad, I don't know. It's probably just drugs. I don't know.
Okay, but that's what I was wondering if it was.
Here's my top five, Dad. Top five.
Okay.
Number one, Beach Boys. Number two, the Beatles. Number three, Led Zeppelin. Greatest rock band of all time. Number four, Pink Floyd. Number five, Black Sabbath. Those are my top five bands, and they've been my top five for years and years. And
I know she didn't mention the Eagles,
yeah, the Eagles are fine. They're good, but
are they?
I don't.
Now go through that list one more time.
So the Beach Boys, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath.
And Led Zeppelin 4, is that the best album that there is?
I think it's it's probably their greatest album musically, but my personal favorite is probably Led Zeppelin 1, which is like has a lot of more blues sound and a lot more, like hard, like that's the creation of hard rock was Led Zeppelin 1.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. Now that you've grown up and you're in you've got a career and stuff. As you look back over your life, how has music changed from especially from the time that you're talking about the 70s and the early 80s till now? How would you describe the music that you turn on here on the radio today? Is that
Well,
something you would listen to, or is it out of the question?
so I definitely think that good music still exists now, and it's always existed, and good music will forever exist. But the biggest change was in the '70s. We get this different sound, and Pink Floyd was like really one of the first that started using synths and um, digital sounds, and so
Mhm.
Pink Floyd was really interesting because they meshed real instruments with synths. And so, like whenever you listen to Pink Floyd, like no one really can replicate their sound because they existed in a specific time where they could utilize both. And then now music, people don't really use real instruments anymore, and it's all synth.
Yeah,
But
synthesizer type
yeah, but it's still
computerized.
good. It's still good.
Wow. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you even remember MTV, or was that like way before your time?
So I do, but it wasn't good MTV probably. But we had we didn't have cable, and so we had like three stations. It was like we could watch the weather, MTV, and then like I don't know a couple Christian channels, and that was like all that my TV would go to because we didn't have cable, and so I'd have MTV playing all the time. But it would just they played a lot of Adele, I remember,
See, that's
and
what I miss. I miss the videos part of it.
yeah, yeah, and
Man,
yeah,
I
people
love
don't
watching
really care
videos.
about music videos no more because people don't really watch them anymore. But
Right. And the streaming is the big thing now. Well, we've got just a few minutes left, and this has been interesting, but I want to ask you probably one of the most important questions that a lot of people would like to know. If you could meet any musician, living or dead, face to face and talk to him today, who would it be?
of course, Brian Wilson.
I figured you would
But
probably say
like I
that.
have quite a few that I would also really love. You know, definitely John Lennon, and I also love. I would have loved to meet Amy Winehouse. She died way too young, and like she died right when she was really setting off her career and coming up with some really great music. And it's just a shame that she had passed the way she did and
Mhm.
so early. But um,
Somebody that's just wanting to get listen to this type of music that you mentioned, which album, if they were to go out and buy an album today, what is the first album you would say you need to buy this album first?
you gotta buy Pet Sounds, or I would say my starter pack.
Okay.
Pet Sounds, maybe Rumors by Fleetwood
Fleetwood
Mac.
Mac, yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe, um, yeah, Led Zeppelin 4. Maybe, if you want to get like more modern stuff, Currents, Tame Impala, maybe, and um, anything Lana Del Rey.
Well, thank you, Megan. We appreciate you coming in today into the studio. And I've got a feeling, I'm just guessing, but I believe this is going to be one of the biggest rated podcasts that I ever have just because Megan's on it today. But I hope you learned something about music because Megan teaches me a lot about music that I don't know even from the time that I grew up because back in the 70s, our family didn't have access to it like we do today. But Megan, thank you for being with us today
I had
and
a good time.
share anything with us as we close that you want to say.
Well, I was gonna bring up earlier that I had just recently gone and saw. I went to Chicago and saw Pink Floyd, or not Pink Floyd. Oh my gosh, I wish I saw Tame Impala in concert, and I saw Pink Pantheress in concert, and it's just a reiteration that good music still exists now, and even though um, sound isn't, it's more digital now, it's still good, and we can still, there's still hope for good music in the future. So.
Well, that's a good way to end the program today. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you, Megan, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.